Hello everybody, my name is Mason from Cyclone MMA and welcome back to another video. It's Let's Talk MMA time. It's number 7. We haven't had a UFC pay-per-view in a while. We got UFC 266 that we're going to preview and predict some winners here. The last UFC pay-per-view event was UFC 265 back in August 7th of this year. That was Derek Lewis versus Ciryl Gane, where Ciryl Gane just put it on Derek Lewis. Now, I'm going to be looking at mainly the main card, but a few fights to, think about watching in the prelims is Dan Hooker. He's fighting again. He's fighting Nasrat. Not going to attempt the last name because I don't want to embarrass myself on this channel. I've already embarrassed myself enough. I don't think I need to continue. Dan Hooker always brings it unless he's fighting Michael Chandler. Nasrat, he's got some emotions running high. He recently had a mother who passed away. Dan Hooker had some visa issues. This is going to be, you don't know what you're going to get in this fight, but I'm really curious to see how it plays out. And the headliner for the prelims is Marlon Moraes versus Merab Dvalishvili. I feel like I'm close there, but also really far away. Merab, he's a beast. He's a wrestler. He mauls guys. I think he's going to be a problem in this division. I think he's really, really good. Fights, with Ray Longo and Matt Serra. He's part of that gym. Marlon Moraes, he's on a bit of a skid. Very impressive fighter. We're going to see how he does against a guy like Merab in this fight. And I'm excited for this one. I don't know who's going to win this one. I'm leaning Dan Hooker for the lightweight fight. And for this bantamweight matchup, I'm leaning towards Merab. I think he can get him down. I think he can kind of do something to Marlon Moraes like we saw Henry Cejudo do to him. But let's get into the main card. A lot of good fights here. Volkanovski versus Ortega as the main event. Shevchenko versus Murphy is your co-main event. The middleweight matchup, the people's main event, is Nick Diaz versus Robbie Lawler. Curtis Blades versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. A heavyweight matchup. And to open the show, we have Jessica Andrade versus Cynthia Calvillo. We'll start there. I'm just going to come out and say I think Jessica Andrade is going to win this fight. Since she's moved up, she looked good in her first fight, and you can even do some MMA math, which never works. But Calvillo's last fight was against Caitlin Chookagian. She lost a decision. Jessica Andrade fought Chookagian a few fights ago, and she destroyed her. Jessica Andrade, there's few people that can beat her. She's just a wrecking ball. She comes in there and just destroys people. And so I think that's probably how it's going to go down. It'll be interesting to see if Calvillo can win, just because in that flyweight division, there aren't a lot of contenders. You kind of just have Shevchenko just going through everyone. People thought Andrade was going to give Shevchenko issues. She didn't. But I do see Andrade as a step up from Cynthia Calvillo. I think she's a really, really good fighter. But I just don't see Calvillo being able to get it done. I have Andrade finishing this fight in the first or second round. I think she's just too powerful and too good a striker. Moving on to the heavyweight matchup, we have Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Curtis Blades. Now, what was Curtis Blades? These guys are both on a bit of a losing streak here. At least one loss, right? Because, yeah, Curtis Blades, he always gets really, really good wins, and he's close to getting a title fight, and then he loses it. He gets it ripped from him. Last time it was he took an uppercut from Derek Lewis and got knocked out in the second round of his fight. Jairzinho's on a skid here. Well, no, actually, I guess he did win his last fight. I forgot Augusto Sakai. He got a win there. But before that, he lost to Ciryl Gane. We didn't know then, but we know now that Ciryl Gane is a freaking beast. And before that, he got sent to hell by Francis Ngannou. This is going to be a fun fight, and it's going to be interesting to see where the fight takes place. Because if it takes place on the ground, Curtis Blades is going to beat on Jairzinho for 3 rounds and just rough him up. If it takes place on the feet, it's closer than it is on the ground. I see Jairzinho being the better striker. Now, Curtis Blades does have hands, and if he gets too comfortable on the feet, he could get the knockout punch, or he could get knocked out. Jairzinho, I think, is better on the feet. But Blades, he's got some hands. I think Blades wants to get this fight to the ground. I still think Curtis Blades can be a champion. I still have the belief in him to be able to do that. I mean, he lost to Derek Lewis and Francis Ngannou. So really, if he avoids the big right hand, he can win this fight. But I want to say, isn't Jairzinho? He might be a southpaw, so we might have to. I don't know. But I am gonna take Curtis Blades to win this fight. I want to see him fight for the belt one of these days. He's really freaking damn good. He's just got to be able to put it together in his fights, and it seems like he always makes these little mistakes, and then it just costs him. But that's the life of a heavyweight. When you're a heavyweight fighter, you understand that one wrong step, if you zig when you should have zagged, you get your lights shut off, and that's that. But yeah, I'm taking Curtis Blades. Next we have the middleweight division fight, the people's main event. Nick Diaz, the return against Robbie Lawler. I have very little faith in Nick Diaz in this fight. I didn't have a lot of faith to begin with, and now there's this whole thing with the fight taking place at 185 as opposed to welterweight. Nick Diaz looked ripped a couple months ago, and then you have his pictures where he doesn't look like bad, but he doesn't look like someone who's about to fight in a cage. He's a little bit of a thick boy, just a little bit. He's not like Mason thick boy. He's not like me, but he's looking thicker than we've seen Nick Diaz in, fighting shape. What did I just say? I don't know. But anyways, Robbie Lawler, he is on a big skid. His last fight was against Neil Magny. He just got outworked. Before that, it was in 2019. He lost to Colby Covington, who doesn't lose to Colby Covington. Before that, it was Ben Askren, who, Robbie Lawler beat the shit out of. And then they're like, oh, Askren choked him out with the bulldog choke. But, Robbie Lawler was completely fine. 2017... lost to RDA, and yeah, his last win was in 2017 over Cowboy Cerrone. So that's crazy. It's crazy that he has not won since 2017, but I think that Nick Diaz might be the guy to give him that W. It's just Nick Diaz has been out of the sport for how long now? Let's check on that. It's at least 6 years, right? He hasn't fought since 2015, so yeah, 6 years, and that was against Anderson Silva. Yeah, I don't know how we can't really judge Nick Diaz. We don't know what kind of shape he's in. He always has good cardio. He's always super durable, just like his brother. But there's just so many questions, and I'm wondering how old he is at this point, right? He's 38 years old. How old's Robbie Lawler? 39 years old. It's an old man fight, to be honest. This is a rematch. Nick Diaz won the first fight in a fight that Robbie Lawler was expected to win. It'd be interesting if history repeated itself. I think Robbie Lawler is probably the betting favorite in this fight. I haven't looked at the lines, but I would assume that. So it'd be interesting if history repeats itself. Nick Diaz shocks the world. If Nick Diaz does win this fight, it's going to be who's next for him? Is the UFC going to pull something crazy and give him Usman? I think that'd be a terrible idea, but stranger things have happened in this organization. So I think Robbie Lawler wins. I don't know if he knocks him out, but I think he wins a decision at least. I think he's going to pick him apart. I think Robbie's durable, at this weight class, at this time in his life where he's not going to get his lights shut out. But who knows? It'll be a fun fight. There's going to be a lot of hype behind it. It'll be interesting. I'm just hoping for a fun fight, and I think Robbie Lawler and Nick Diaz are the two people to put in the cage to give you something fun. So yeah, I'll take Robbie Lawler by decision. So far I got Andrade, I got Blades, I got Lawler. I should put a parlay down on all these. Moving on to our first title fight. It's the women's flyweight fight. This is the co-main fight on this card. It's Valentina Shevchenko, the Bullet, versus Lauren Murphy. Lauren Murphy is 38 years old. She is a heavy underdog. I don't even have to look at the lines for that. She's a heavy underdog. She's on a 5-fight win streak. It's just not going to be enough. I hate picking against people and saying like you don't have a shot. Like it reminds me of like the last time I had to do this, it was like Megan Anderson against Amanda Nunes. Valentina Shevchenko and Amanda Nunes, they're the top dogs. They're better than everyone else everywhere. She's a better wrestler, better grappler, better striker. I don't think it's close. I don't think this fight's going to be close. I know Lauren Murphy's super durable. This could be a decision, but it's going to be a bunch of highlights for Valentina Shevchenko in my eyes. And I think Valentina Shevchenko gets it done. I almost can't like talk about this fight for a long time just because no matter where it takes place, I see Shevchenko winning. I could eat my words, and it'd be cool if I did because I love underdog victories. It's just one of those things that, like, I really don't see Lauren Murphy winning this fight. So, like, you can put your money on Shevchenko and make 3 cents if you put down $100 or whatever the math turns out to be. You won't make a lot. Or put a couple bucks on Lauren Murphy, and if she ends up winning, you can make some real cash. But Valentina Shevchenko versus Amanda Nunes 3 needs to happen. It's just the two best female fighters, and it's not even close. Yeah, that's it. I think if Valentina wins this, call out Nunes, make it happen at bantamweight, get it on. Nunes probably won't take that fight. There's not a lot there. She's already has 2 wins on paper against Shevchenko. So, yeah. Moving on to the main event for the featherweight strap. We have Alexander the Great Volkanovski versus T-City Brian Ortega. Now, if you use MMA math, you say Volkanovski wins. Because you look at Max Holloway, and a lot of people, myself included, think that Max beat Volkanovski in the second fight. It was still a close fight. The first fight was a close fight. I think Volkanovski won that one. And then you look at Max Holloway fighting Brian Ortega, and Max Holloway punched the shit out of him. He punched him a lot. Like a lot. Brian Ortega got punched in that fight. Max's fist touched Ortega in the face multiple times. MMA math doesn't exist. It's not real. It's a figment of your imagination. So we can throw that out the window, especially with this Brian Ortega. He's new. In that Korean zombie fight, he looked like a reborn fighter. His striking was really, really good. He was throwing some spinning shit. He looked powerful. He looked strong. He was putting combinations together. But Volkanovski is just so damn well-rounded. I don't know if the wrestling is going to be in play because of Brian Ortega's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu pedigree. I think Ortega could get a submission victory here. But I don't know, dude. Volkanovski is just such a high IQ fighter, so smart. And I really enjoyed watching these guys on The Ultimate Fighter. I'd never seen a season of The Ultimate Fighter until this one. I figured I'd give it a shot. And before going into the episode, or going into the first episode, I wanted Brian Ortega. I was going to root for all of his guys because, you know, T-City, like him. And I like have this weird distaste for Volkanovski just because I'm a big Max guy and like I'm biased as hell. By the end of like a couple episodes, completely swapped. I love Volkanovski now. I'm still like, if he fights Max, I'm rooting for Max. But Volkanovski's a cool dude. I feel bad that he's not being taken seriously as a champion. Brian Ortega came off kind of douchey in the show, in my opinion. Maybe he's just playing it up for the cameras, but like there is a lot of beef going on here. Volkanovski says that Ortega's, you know, he says he's not professional, and they found out he was a drug cheat, and he was very upset about that. So it'll be interesting to see if Volkanovski, you know, stays calm and sticks to whatever his game plan is, or if he goes out there and just bum rushes Ortega trying to rip him apart. Because if he does that, he could get caught in a guillotine, could get caught with a shot. Ortega's dropped people with elbows before. And his striking's a lot better now. He's got to respect the power and striking of Ortega because it's legit. But yeah, who am I picking in this fight? This one's tough. Part of me just thinks Ortega's going to get it done. I'm going to pick Alexander Volkanovski. I think he's the better fighter. Ortega is damn good, though. I'll take Volkanovski by decision. He is a decision fighter as much as he doesn't want to admit it. But I think this could be a fun fight. I think it could be one of the ones where the dogs come out. Because Ortega is a dog, and Volkanovski, too, is a dog. And I'm hoping for a close fight. I want Volk to win. I think he'll win. I could see Ortega doing it, though, especially in those first rounds before Volk is sweaty, getting a submission finish. I don't know. I'm excited. This one's hard. I'm going Volkanovski. So I think I'm picking like all of the favorites. Let's look at the betting lines here. But that's who I got for you guys, okay? Calvillo versus Andrade. I have Andrade. Blades versus Rosenstrike. I have Blades. Diaz versus Lawler. I have Lawler. Shevchenko versus Murphy. I have Shevchenko. And Volkanovski versus Ortega. I have Volkanovski. Let's look at the betting lines, and then we'll get out of here. What do we got? UFC 266 betting odds. By the way, I talked about the Ultimate Fighter a little bit. I totally had an interview with Andre Petrosky, who's someone who was expected to win that. Didn't end up winning, but had a really good performance. I think he got a UFC contract anyways. Had an interview with him. Filmed it. The recording was corrupt or whatever, and I couldn't upload it, and I'm so upset about it because I basically like wasted 15 minutes of this guy's time, and I couldn't even upload the video. I felt like such an idiot. You know, I get to like interview a UFC fighter, someone who has a lot of promise, and that shit happens. All right. So Andrade versus Calvillo. Andrade is a minus 260 favorite. Calvillo is a plus 220 dog. Blades versus Rosenstrike. Blades is a minus 300 favorite. Rosenstrike is a plus 250 underdog. Diaz is a minus 110 favorite. Ooh. Okay, that's even. Lawler is a minus 110. They're both at 110, so it's even. I thought that Nick Diaz was going to be the favorite there, but that's like completely, bam, even. I'd put money on Lawler. Shevchenko versus Murphy. Shevchenko is a minus 1,570 favorite. Wow. Laura Murphy is a plus 1035 dog. Then for Volkanovski versus Ortega, Volkanovski minus 175, Ortega plus 155. So a lot of respect, I guess, for Ortega. He's still an underdog, but like they understand it's close. No respect for Lauren Murphy. Absolutely no respect. Put a couple dollars on her. You'll win some money, maybe. Probably not, but maybe. But yeah, so those are my picks. Don't use them because I'm always wrong and I'm terrible at this. But it's fun to do. So leave a like if you enjoyed this video. If you're listening to this, leave a 5-star review on iTunes. Or is there anything you can do on Spotify? I don't know. But yeah, peace out, everyone. More videos coming to my YouTube channel, Cyclone MMA, soon. And more Let's Talk MMA episodes for the listeners. Peace out, everyone. Bye-bye.